Well, hello everyone, Zwigo here, bringing you a new kind of challenge. The in-game trades only challenge. MDP inspired me to make this video since he did it in Kanto and Johto, so I decided I'd try it in Hoenn, specifically in Pokemon Ruby, since in Pokemon Emerald you get different Pokemon, but in Ruby you get 3 in-game traits, that being Makuhita before the first gym, Skitty just before the 6th gym, and as last you can get Corsola just after beating the Magma hideout. You guys might think this challenge would be very easy, but it's really not, since trained Pokemon won't listen to you if you don't have the right amount of gym badges. So overleveling won't be an option. So if you don't have the right amount of gym badges, the Pokemon will fall asleep, hurt themselves in that confusion. They use a different kind of move even though you don't tell them to. Sometimes they just flat out don't attack, so in short, this challenge won't be easy in the beginning. I also just want to thank you guys for the amazing support on my Aerodactyl video. It's now over 3,000 views and I honestly never think that I'd hit this. So really from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. With that being said, let's get into the rules of this challenge. Rule number 1. I'm only allowed to use the trade Pokemon in battle. Rule number 2. I am allowed to catch 8 Gem Slaves because without them this challenge wouldn't even be possible. Rule number 3. No items in battle and also no held items. And the last and final rule, number 4. TMs are allowed. With the rules being said, let's get right into this challenge. We start off by picking Mudkip, of course, because he's the best starter. At least that's my opinion. Please don't butcher me because I like Mudkip. And we go ahead and beat up May. We then go ahead and capture ourselves a Slakoth because he will be needed for our first trade. We head up to Rustboro City to do our first trade. We give the kid our Slakoth and in exchange we get ourselves a Makuhita who is going to be great against the first gym leader. While grinding on some trainers, I actually lost to a Shroomish. So as you can see, Makuhita isn't that great. Our first feint of the run, and the first of many. After a bit more grinding, I decided that I should challenge Roxanne. She starts off with a level 14 Geodude, but Makuhita decides to not obey me, so he falls asleep, and feints to a few attacks of a Geodude. Our second try we also lose, but this time we do get to the nose pass. We try again as our Makuhita starts off by using the wrong move. Geodude goes for a tackle followed by a rock throw. Our Makuhita uses the wrong move, but next turn we do take it out with an arm thrust. We get a level up and she sends out a nose pass. After not attacking for a few turns, Makuhita finally goes for an arm thrust, but Roxanne immediately heals up. After then ignoring another 3 of my commands, nose pass almost takes us out, but at the final turn of the fight, Makuhita decides to finally hit a move so that we can take out our nose pass and get ourselves the gym badge and the TM for Rock Tomb, which we'll teach to our Makuhita because it will be great coverage against flying types. Try to head to the Wisma Cave, but on the way there we get stopped by a Bugcatcher who beats us up with his Nincada, and now you can see how annoying this challenge can get. Our Makuhita actually didn't attack for like 6 turns in a row before hitting itself in its confusion and taking us out. After rescuing Pico, Mr. Briny brings us to Dewford Town, where we have to deliver a letter to Steven Stone. After going through the cave, we head to the second gym led by Brawly. As the name suggests, he specializes in fighting types. Our first run doesn't go that well since this Makuhita takes out our Makuhita. The second try goes even worse, we can't even get past his Machop. So I decided I'd evolve my Makuhita into a Hariyama and the route just after Slateport City, so that we can take more hits. So we go back to Brawly, but he beats us again. After trying a few more times, we get lucky with all of our attacks landing, and his Machop and Makuhita go down in both one hit, so that we can get ourselves the Knuckle Badge and a TM for Bulk Up. Up to the Museum of Slateport City to clear it from all of the Team Magma grunts. Maxi walks in and he tells us that you should all like this video, and if you guys don't like the video, he will increase the planet's landmass, so you know what to do. Next it's time for another rival fight as she starts off with a Whalema, which goes down in just 2 vital throws. She then sends out her Numel, which goes down in 1 arm thrust, and last up is her Grovyle. She goes for an Absorb, but it doesn't do that much damage, so we take him out with a critical arm thrust. So before she scoots off, she gives us the item finder so that we can find hidden treasures. Oh my god, what do I find here? The biggest stash of God of War fan art? Just burn that, please. I don't want to look at this. We then travel to Mobile City where we have to fight Watson, the electric type gym leader. who gave us such a hard time in the Trico run. His first Pokemon Magnemite goes down in just one arm thrust, and Voltorb is out next, who also goes down in one attack. Last up is this pile of magnets, which also goes down in one hit after it goes for a Sonic Boom. And we win ourselves the battle, and he gives us the Dynamo badge and the TM for Shockwave, which we're probably not going to use on this journey. It's that time again. Time for us to catch a new HM boy. We then travel to Meteor Falls to see Team Magma bullying a scientist, because he has a rock that can bring Groudon back to life. Team Aqua comes and they flee, because they're just a load of pussies. We backtrack to the cable car and we ride it. Whee! We arrive at the top of Mount Chimney, where we see Maxie with the stone of the scientist. He's worshipping it. We interrupt his worshipping session and we challenge him to a battle, but we lose because his Golbat is just too good. We go back and we challenge him again. His Mightyena cuts our attack but gets taken out in one hit. Next up is his Golbat, which confuses us as Hariyama then doesn't listen to us. He hits us with a wing attack and Hariyama hits back with a smelling salt. And he goes for another wing attack. We then finally hit our Rock Tomb to take it out. Last up is his Camerupt, who goes down to just one Vital Throw and an Arm Thrust after he heals up. And so Team Magma is defeated, and hopefully we stop their plans forever so that we can finally have a break of these evil teams. Time to hike down the Volcano and head up to Leverage Town, known for its hot springs, so if you want to relax, just come here. The gym is literally a sauna. Talking about the gym, gotta beat that. So we go through the immensely hot sauna to fight Flannery, but her Torkoal is just too strong, which means that we gotta go through all of that again. But this time I had a water bottle with me, so it wasn't that hard. Her 2 Slugmas goes down in just one Rock Tomb and she sends out her Torkoal. We go for a Rock Tomb as he hits us hard with an Overheat. He then goes for a Flail and our Machete doesn't listen to us and he decides to go for Vital Throw, which actually manages to take it out, and so we manage to conquer the sauna, and Flannery gives us the Heat Badge and a free yearly subscription to her sauna. Thank you very much. We then backtrack a whole bunch to go back to Verdanturf Town, where we have to battle our dad, who has abandoned our mother. Norman, you will pay for this! He starts off with a Slacking, which goes for a Yawn, and he survives with a Vital Throw. He then decides to heal up, and we take him back down to a Slither of Health, and we fall asleep. He hits us with a Facade and we take him out next turn because we wake up. His Vigoroth is up next. He hits us with a Slash and we take him out with one attack. And last up is this slightly higher leveled Slacking, who goes for a Focus Punch so we can take him out in just 2 hits. And so we beat up our bad dad. Hey, that rhymes. So we take the Balance Badge and the TM for Facade, and we head off. We first make a quick pit stop at Marvel City to get ourselves a TM for Thunderbolt that we will be needing later on. We travel further to go ahead and clear out the Weather Institute from the Team Magma grunts, and the scientist thanks us by giving us a cast form, the greatest gift of them all. We try to head up to 4-3 City, but we get stopped by a rival, who wants to make our animals fight again. She starts off with a Numel and we miss our first attack, as it hits us with a Magnitude. We go for a Bulk Up as she hits us again, but this time we take it out next turn in just 1 hit. Next is Wilma. He survives a Rock Tomb and he goes for a Water Pulse, but we take him out next turn with another one. Last up is our Grovyle, who hits us hard with a Leaf Blade, almost taking us out, but we take him down in 1 hit to defeat May. But she's a good sport, so she gives us the HM for Fly. We then head up to the Safari Zone to capture ourselves a Pikachu, so that we can trade it in for a Skitty later on. We name it Subscribe because if you haven't subscribed already, it's the big red button just below this video. I just want to thank you guys for 100 subscribers. It's really a big milestone for me, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Back to 4-3 City to trade over our Pikachu so that we can get ourselves a Skitty named Skidit. Original name. I will probably name my first child Childit, because you know, that's just how names work, I guess. Anyway, let's head up to the flying gym led by Winona. However, we lose our first attempt because of her Altaria, but we go in again as she starts off with her Swallow. She sets up a double team and we set up with a Belly Drum. She hits us with an Aerial Ace, doing a lot of damage. We counter with an Arm Thrust though, and she sends out a Skarmory, who also gets one shot. The same goes for Pelipper, and Altaria probably could have taken me out here, but she decided to set up with a Dragon Dance, so we take her out as well. And so we get the Bird Badge. Next I grind up Skitty to level 27 so it learns Feint Attack. The rest of the attacks that it learns aren't useful to us, so we'll evolve it into a Delcatty. You're probably asking yourself, why don't you just evolve it straight away? Well, that's because Delcatty doesn't learn any moves. So we give our Skitty the Moonstone and he enters his final form. Next we head up to Lilligove City where May is waiting for us at the Pokemon Mall. The battle starts and she leads off with a Swellow, who sets up a double team so that we miss our Rock Tomb. But next turn we take it out with no problem. Next up is a Numel who faints in just one attack, and then Wilma comes out and it goes for a Water Pulse. But we take it out with one Vital Throw. Out comes Grovyle, who crits us with a Leaf Blade as we take him out in just one turn. We head up to the top of Mount Paya, where Maxie is threatening his grandma because she didn't bake him cookies. Man, what a jerk. We then go to Team Magma hideout to clear out all of the grunts and grab ourselves the Master Ball. We then go to the Space Center on Mossdeep Island to get ourselves a Sunstone so that we can evolve our Gloom into a Blossom. After doing this, we head up to Pacifilock Island to meet up with a woman who wants to trade our Blossom for her Corsola. To be honest, this trade really isn't worth it because you're giving out a way better Pokemon, but we have to do it for the vid. So we get Caroso and scoot to the Psychic Gym in Mossdeep City, led by the two gym leaders Tate and Liza. We complete their puzzle and we then walk up the paths to get straight into their faces. We confront them and they start off with a Lunatone and a Solrock. Their Solrock sets up a Sunny Day and their Lunatone a Calm Mind. We go for a Feint Attack and a Vital Throw on the Lunatone to bring it down into red health. They heal it up and we go for an Arm Thrust which doesn't do a lot of damage. They hit Mackit hard with a Psychic and we go for another Feint Attack. Lunatone takes out Skidit and we send out Caroso, who tanks a hit from Solrock's Psychic. We then take out Lunatone with a Vital Throw and Solrock takes out Caroso. Next turn we hit it with a Vital Throw and it goes for a Psychic. But we live with a slither of health, so we manage to take it out with another Vital Throw, and so we defeat the evil twins on our first try, and we get ourselves the Mind Badge. We then pay a visit to Steven to get ourselves the HM for Dive, so we can finally explore the ocean floor. While we are deep under the waters of Hoenn, we spot ourselves a weird looking hole in the reef. We decide to investigate further and it seems to be a cave where Team Magma is trying to awaken Groudon. Maxie walks in and he challenges us to a battle as we found his secret dungeon. He leads with a Mightyena who cuts our attack with Intimidate. He goes for a Scary Face to lower our speed and we take him out with just one Vital Throw. Out comes Crobat, who confuses us but we break through and hit it with a Rock Tomb. He heals up with a Super Potion and we miss our attack. It hits us with a hard-hitting Wing Attack and we take him out next turn with a critical Rock Tomb. We level up and out comes his Camerupt. He sets up an Amnesia and we go for an Arm Thrust. He heals up with a Super Potion and we hit him with a Vital Throw. He then hits us with an Earthquake, leaving Mackit with a slither of health, but we take him out next turn with another Vital Throw. To finally see the last of Maxie. After the battle, he goes on his knees because he wants to propose to Groudon with a big blue shining ring. But Groudon doesn't think Maxie treats her like the woman she is. So she flies off to the Bahamas and Maxie's baffled as he's thinking about jumping in the lava, but he gets a call from Groudon. He gets one last chance to prove himself, so we have to scoot to Sutupolis City, where we find Steven and Wallace. They tell us that Groudon has entered an incredible rage and it won't stop until someone brings it down. Well, I'll be the person to do that. Psych! I actually forgot to save and I ran away from the battle, so I guess that was an anticlimax. Time to head up to Wallace and leave all this behind us. He starts off with a Love Disc who goes down to 2 Thunderbolts after he hits us twice with Water Pulse. Next is Wishcash. I misclick so that he can take us out with 1 Earthquake. We send out Mackit and we set up a Belly Drum, as she sets up with an Amnesia. And as you all know, it's all over for Wallace because we one-shot the rest of his team because of Belly Drum. Milotic does get an attacking with Ice Beam, but it doesn't matter. We get ourselves the last gym badge so that we can move on to the Pokemon League. We clear through the entirety of Victory Road, and just as we're about to exit, we get stopped by Wally. He tells us he's tired of losing, so he challenges us to a battle. And well, he has leveled up a lot, so he takes us out with his first Mon. But we go in again and we take out his Altaria in just 2 hits. Next up is his God of War. We get a Licky crit with Rock Tomb as he hits us hard with Psychic. We take him out with another attack and he sends out his Delcatty, but it goes down to just 1 arm thrust, and next up is Magneton, who shares the same fate. Last is Roselia, who goes for a magical leave as we miss our Rock Tomb. Next we hit a Rock Tomb as it uses Leech Sheet, which almost takes us out. We then go for a Rock Tomb, take it out and win ourselves the battle. Then it's time for us to start on the last challenge. We head up to the first Elite Four member Sidney, who kinda reminds me of MDB, you know, with the haircut. No, only me? Alright, I'm sorry. So we start off by setting up a belly drum on his Mightyena as he hits us with a takedown. We take him out next turn though with an arm thrust. His Shift 3 sets up a double team, so we take him out next turn with a Vital Throw, since that never misses. Absol comes out and it sets up a Swords Dance, but it goes down in just 1 hit. Cacturn also goes down in 1 hit, and last up is his Sharpedo. He confuses us with Swagger, but we take him out because we don't hit ourselves. Now our screen gets filled with a thick mist because we're about to fight the second member of the Elite Four, Phoebe. She specializes in ghost types. We get into the battle, but she sweeps my entire team with her Sableye. Problem is her Dusclops. He can't use Curse or Confuse Ray, because else we won't be able to do it. So every time he uses one of these moves, we have to reset. After trying about 20 times, I decided it was time to grind. But while we're grinding in this montage, may I remind you to leave a comment down below saying what your opinion was on this video. And while you're there anyway, you might as well leave a like. So we grinded up Maki to level 65 and the other 2 to level 57, and we finally get a good run. We use Sing on her Dusclops and we start feint attacking away. The third feint attack just leaves it with a slither of health as he confuses us and she heals him up. We go for another feint attack and we put her to sleep, and we finish it off with 2 more feint attacks. Next she sends out a Banette who goes down in just 3 hits. After she decides spamming Spy to take away all of our PP for feint attack, so we have to use Thunderbolt from now on. Next up is Sableye. We take him down to half health, but then he takes us out. I decide to send out Carozo to take it out with a Surf, which it does, but not before it can hit us with a Shadow Ball. Next up is Dusclops. We chip away at his health with Surf before he takes us out. We set up a Belly Drum as he confuses us, but Makit's determination gets through it and we one-shot the Dusclops, and time for our last Banette, who also goes down to 1 Rock Tomb, and so we claim ourselves victory, my dudes. Time for Glacia, which, as you can probably hear from her name, is an Ice-type user. She starts off with a floating head, which sets up a hail, as we take it out with a Vital Throw. Next up is a Celio, who goes for a Surf, but we take it out with 1 Vital Throw as well. Her second Celio comes out, who goes down through an Arm Thrust, and then comes out her second Glalie, which hits us with an Ice Beam, and we hit back with a Vital Throw to take it out. Last is a Walrein, who goes down to 2 Arm Thrust as he luckily misses a Blizzard. Otherwise we would have been screwed. And we actually beat Glacia on our first try, which is really amazing. Time to move on to the next room, where the Dragon type user Drake is waiting for us. But it seems like we're no match for him, since his Salamence keeps taking us out every single time. But I'm not gonna go and grind up. I wanna beat him at this level. This one time we got to his last Pokemon Altaria, but he took us out, so I know it's possible to beat him. But at last we get the run of dreams after trying and trying and trying. His Shelgon goes down in just a few arm thrusts, while we don't take a lot of damage in the process. Next up is his Flygon, who, as the name suggests, uses Fly. While it's super effective, it doesn't do that much damage, and so we can take him out in a few attacks. Next up is his Salamence. We switch in Carozo and we go for an Ancient Power. And then we just spam Recover for like 10 minutes until he runs out of Dragon Claws, hoping that he doesn't get a crit. After doing that, we start riddling him down with the Ancient Power and Surf, but he heals up in the process, and just as we're about to take him out, he finishes us off. So we have to go into Skid It to finish the job with the T-Bolt, after we tank a Crunch. Next up is Altaria. We go for a Sing to put it to sleep, and you start spamming Strength, but he switches out in the Flygon, who takes us out after just a few heals. But we go in with one last Strength, and so that Maggot can finish the job. He goes down to 2 Arm Thrust, but not before we get hit with 2 Flamethrowers. His Altaria sets up a Dragon Dance as we go for a Rock Tomb. He misses its attack, and we attack, which leaves us with a slither of health. And here I thought it was over. It uses Takedown, but we live on 3 health. So we take him down so we can finally move on to Steven Stone. But we first have to teach Maggot Earthquake because it's gonna be very good against his team. We head up to his room, which has the most amazing music ever, by the way. He tells us he knew that we were gonna challenge him one day, and here we are. Well, enough of the chit chat, let's get into it. Okay, chill out Steven, I literally got slaughtered and his Metagross swept my entire team. I had to redo this fight over 100 times easily, but I finally found a strategy. I have to hit every single Sing with Delcatty, and all of his Pokemon have to stay asleep for the right amount of turns to make this work. After learning this, we got the run of dreams. We put his Skarmory to sleep and we get him down to a slither of health with a few Thunderbolts. He heals up with a full restore and we take it out with 3 more Thunderbolts as it hits us with a Steel Wing. Next up is Armaldo. We put it to sleep and we switch out to Maggot to finish it off with 2 Earthquakes. Next up is his Metagross. We switch back to Skid It and we put it to sleep. We switch back to Maggot, we go for an Earthquake, which almost takes it out. It heals up with his berry, and he wakes up next turn and he goes for a Hyper Beam, which doesn't do that much damage. Normally he goes for a Psychic, but I got lucky this time I guess, so we can take him out with another Earthquake. Next up is his Claydol. We switch out Corroso to take it out with 2 Surfs, before Delcatty actually uses Sing to put it to sleep. Next up is Aggron, so we switch in Maggot. We take him out with just 1 Earthquake and his last Pokemon Cordilli comes out. We switch in Skid It one last time to put it to sleep. We switch back into Maggot and we go for a Vital Throw, but it lives with literally 1 HP. So he heals up and next turn we get a high roll to take him out and we become champion of the Hoenn League once again. This time in Ruby. I honestly thought that this would be easy, but it was pretty hard. And here we see our 3 months. Maggot, Skitty and Corroso. They will be remembered forever. And that is a challenge complete, my dudes. I really enjoyed this one. It was something different, but refreshing. For my next video, I really want to do a Halloween special, but I haven't decided on what I'm gonna do yet, so any suggestions will be very welcomed. Well, with that being said, I'm Zwigo, and I'll see you guys next time.